The unseen war. Why your real battle isn't what you think. Let's set the scene. You're in a high-stakes meeting, or maybe you're walking into another emotionally charged conversation with your teenager. Maybe you're just staring at your to-do list, wondering why you feel so depleted over things that shouldn't even faze you. Frustration boils. Doubt whispers. You feel like you're fighting, but you're not sure what or who. Sound familiar? Most people think they're wrestling with poor performance, toxic coworkers, a struggling marriage, or their own limitations. But what if the real fight isn't what it seems? What if you've been shadowboxing, swinging hard, but at the wrong target? Ephesians 6:12 pulls back the curtain. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. If you're willing, this verse can reset your entire framework for life, for faith, and yes, even for business. You're not just fighting situations, you're facing strategies. The Greek word for struggle here isn't about some distant war. It's about grappling. Think wrestling. Think hand-to-hand combat. This isn't theoretical. It's personal. And it's happening in the places you least expect. In meetings, in conflict, in the private places of your mind. And the enemy? He's strategic. Paul lists an organized hierarchy. Rulers, authorities, powers, and spiritual forces. This isn't a loose group of chaos agents. This is targeted warfare, tactical, focused, and often invisible. So let me say it bluntly. If you keep trying to solve spiritual problems with natural strategies, you're going to stay stuck. That's why you can tweak your workflows and still feel unproductive. It's why you can try self-help, therapy, or team building and still feel the emotional drag. Those things help, sure, but they don't disarm lies, fears, or spiritual resistance. The workplace is a war zone, but not the kind you think. You might not expect it, but your career is sacred ground. Whether you're building a business, managing a team, or grinding it out in quiet service, you carry God's image into systems that desperately need His presence. That means your work is warfare. Every project is a chance to choose integrity over ego, service over selfishness, truth over comfort. The moment you decide to lead with conviction, the moment you step into purpose over profit, expect resistance. Not always from people, but from the systems and spirits that thrive on distraction, division, and discouragement. The boardroom becomes a battleground. Slack threads become spiritual skirmishes. Your inner narrative becomes enemy territory. And yet, you are not powerless. The true enemy wears many masks. One of the devil's oldest tricks is misdirection. If he can get you to believe your spouse is the problem, your coworker is the threat, your client is the enemy, he's already halfway to victory. Why? Because as long as you're fighting flesh and blood, you're not confronting what's actually tearing at your peace, your purpose, or your identity. The real enemy is subtle. He doesn't walk into your office in a red suit. He shows up as a comparison. Imposter syndrome, perfectionism, pride, bitterness. That slow, subtle erosion of joy that leaves you sharp with others and soft on truth. And make no mistake, he's not just trying to distract you. He wants to disarm you. Because a disarmed believer is a passive leader. Armor isn't optional, it's essential. Paul doesn't just warn us about the war, he equips us for it. The full armor of God, detailed in verses 13 to 17, isn't metaphorical window dressing. It's functional gear for anyone who dares to live with purpose in a broken world. Truth keeps you grounded when spin and manipulation abound. Righteousness guards your integrity when shortcuts look appealing. Peace steadies you when anxiety storms in. Faith shields you when doubt hits like flaming arrows. Salvation centers your identity when the world tries to define you. The Word is your sword, offensive, sharp, powerful. If you wouldn't show up to a sales pitch naked, don't show up to life unarmored. Put on the armor. Resistance is proof you're advancing. Here's where we shift perspective. If you feel like life has gotten harder since you chose to live with intention, that's not failure, that's confirmation. Resistance often confirms movement. You're pushing back darkness. You're no longer drifting. So, of course, the enemy presses harder. But here's the promise. Greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. 1 John 4:4. We are more than conquerors through him who loved us. Romans 8:37. You're not a passive player in some cosmic experiment. You're chosen, empowered, commissioned. That doesn't make life easier, but it makes you unshakable. The real you shows up in the battle. The pressure of the fight doesn't create who you are, it reveals it. Under fire, your values are tested, your default settings surface. But so does the Spirit of God within you. The more aware you are of the unseen war, the more intentional you'll be in how you respond, how you lead, and how you live. So what does this mean today? It means that when you walk into that tense meeting, you don't just prepare your slides, you prepare your soul. When you feel misunderstood or mistreated, you pause and pray before reacting. When discouragement hits, you don't reach for a distraction, you reach for truth. This is where faith meets function. Final thought. The war is real, but so is the victory. You are not naive to believe that truth wins. You are not weak to admit you need armor. You are not paranoid for recognizing spiritual resistance. You are awake. And when you live awake, you lead with clarity, courage, and compassion. So stand up. Get dressed in God's armor. And show the world what a conqueror really looks like, not one who dominates, but one who withstands. One who loves anyway, leads anyway, believes anyway. Because your battle is real, but your victory is already won. And when you live from that truth, you're unstoppable. Start your day tomorrow by putting on the armor, literally. Before you check your inbox or pour your coffee, speak these pieces over your life. Write them down. Breathe them in. Choose truth. Choose peace. Choose faith. And when the resistance comes, smile. It means you're doing something that matters.